times Marcus Fitzsimmons.
Hello, everybody, and greetings from the Blue Tick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Marcus Fitzsimmons filling in for the absent Mike Edwards. And I'm here with Donnie Moore and Tony Iruli, and this is the Goatee Sports page. Well, today, let's set today's lineup card, sponsored by the Blunt Partnership. The Boyd Sports Spotlight shines on the Maryville Rebels this morning, as we have a couple of Maryville stars visiting with us. Donnie Moore will update us on high school scores and news from around the area, and then we'll mark it down, sponsored by Mandy B. Street Realty Features with the Alcoa High School football team. The Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week will be announced, featuring Heritage Soccer coach Tom Bartizel and some of his Lady Mountaineers. Donnie Moore returns to discuss headlines from around the sports world before the University of Tennessee Sports Report, sponsored by the Cherokee Group and the Murphy's Bobcat SEC Notebook, featuring Tony Iruli and Donnie Moore as we talk about Tennessee's win over NC State and take a look at the Kent State Golden Flashes.
Woo! How about that one?
And finally, the Shelter Insurance Bold Prediction segment closes the show. And now, it's time for the Boyd Sports Spotlight. And our special guest from Maryville High School this morning, running back Price Davis, is with us. And we also have Alex Boyd, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, thanks for coming in this morning. I know a little bit of a bruising game last night, 35-14 win over Knox West at their place. Price rushed for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns, caught a Will Jones pass for a third, and you all kind of took control early. So let me put it to both of you. How important was it for the team to get that win last night over West?
Extremely important. I mean, that's a really good football team, back-to-back state championships in the 5A. So, good statement win for the Rebels.
Did the fact that you all had lost to them the previous 2 years play into it? Was that a motivation?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that was a revenge game.
I heard that growl in there.
Yeah.
Just a little bit out there.
Well, what's even better is that you went to their place.
Yes.
And beat them at their place, and
Yes,
that's even more of a satisfaction as well.
Now, just so in case there are people out there who don't actually know your names yet. So we'll go ahead and for those people, Price running back, phenomenal year last year, having a good start this year. Alex, headed to Air Force Academy, offensive lineman, clearing the path for him, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Does he tip well? I guess is the question. I mean, is there candy in your locker on Monday morning if he has a good game?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. He leaves that for the quarterback to take care of.
Yeah.
All right. But Alex, what is the best thing about the backfield you have as far as blocking for Will and Price?
Will is incredibly smart, and Price runs hard. He hits the hole. I have a lot of confidence in them blocking for them because I know when I do my job, they're going to do theirs.
And that's the thing for linemen, right? Like, I mean, you're empowered to do better when you know that back can pick up yards when you open the hole.
Absolutely, yeah. And he's my best friend. That also helps too.
And that he doesn't trip over his own feet trying to go through that hole. And Price, the reverse for you, what's the nicest thing about this offensive line Maryville has this year? Because it's been pretty dominant.
Yeah, it's great to just run behind our guys. I mean, I think we have the best line in the state. Phenomenal athletes all around. They always are blocking their tails off, giving great effort. I'm just so lucky to run behind them.
Another back earlier this season was talking about his line and mentioned the hole got so big it made his eyes pop open. Mm-hmm. Do you have moments like that with these guys where you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't miss running through the hole like that?
Yes, sir. It puts a smile on my face during the play when I see the line just open up like that.
And talk a little bit, what's it like playing with Will? You got a young quarterback. There's a lot of seniors on this team. How does he mesh in with you guys as far as being the quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, he's only a sophomore, but I feel like we've built up our chemistry even more than we had last year. So, yeah.
And I assume you all gotten the handoff thing down, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How much time goes into that? Because we talk about it with the center to quarterback, but that handoff between quarterback and running back can be a really tricky thing too.
Yeah, now it's just kind of like a natural thing. We still practice it. We do boots during practice with the receivers for like 15 minutes every day. Do handoffs whenever we have like downtime in practice. So that's how we get it down.
And I guess people would wonder, I think maybe this is more fan-oriented than team-oriented, but you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but you had a shutout streak of 14 quarters that West finally ended last night, but you got 3.5 games into the season before you gave up a point. Was that a thing for the team? Did you all care? Or was it just something the fans were paying attention to?
That was definitely like super important for our team. Our defense is great, and allowing no points, that's huge. That's absolutely huge.
Well, it makes it easier for the offense, right?
Yes, sir.
When you're always ahead.
Yeah.
We're also starting like with great field position every time because they punt, we get a good return, or we get a turnover. It's just our defense has done amazing so far.
You know, Nick White's going to blame me for y'all giving up points because I congratulated him. So I'm going to congratulate him for not
You
giving
jinxed
up.
him?
We're not giving up any points
You
so far
jinxed
this
him?
season, yes. And he says, great, Tony, you probably jinxed us now. You know, we'll probably give up some points here. I go, no, that's not going to happen. So he's going to blame me for it.
I'm blaming you for it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I won't ever say congratulations for
Guys,
it.
when you get back to school on Monday, y'all tell them who to come find about that. Coach, I really jinxed
It's my
you.
fault. My fault.
I know, Alex, we've heard a little bit about your college plans, and the big question I always get asked is, how is he going to fit into the cockpit of a fighter pilot?
Well, so Coach Lobo is my O-line coach for Air Force. He told me that there was this, I forgot his name, but he was a 6'6" DN, and he flew F-15s in some war. And also, after football's done, there's nobody telling me I can't lose any weight, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's true. I was just wondering if you'd considered bombers maybe, because there's a much bigger they get a bathroom in those
They
things.
do, yeah. I mean, big cargo jets, I've got nothing wrong with that, right? You can go straight into flying private after that for like FedEx or something. But it's just when I get into pilot training, it's pretty much what the Air Force needs at that
Right.
point. It's not really what I want.
Have you been out there to Colorado Springs?
I have.
It's just beautiful out
I've
there.
been on like one visit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's
That's great.
And what I know you've told this story before, but what kind of drew you to looking at Air Force and deciding on making a career option out of that?
Well, I wanted something fun and well-paying and flexible, and I feel like being a pilot is a great option. And then so as I was looking at piloting programs, the Air Force Academy is probably the best place to go do that.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good call.
And Price, are your college plans set? Is it announced? Do you know what you're doing yet?
Yes, sir. I'm committed to Davidson College in North Carolina.
And I get the same kind of question. How did that connection take place? Did you find them? They find you, or?
Kind of both. I was at a camp and they noticed me, and then I camped there, and they ended up offering me after that camp, and I just knew it was the right decision and the right time, so I decided to commit it.
And having that commitment done, I've always had the impression when you've got that settled, it makes senior year a little bit more fun. You don't have that floating around the back
Yes,
of your
sir.
head. Is that
Yeah, for
true?
sure.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So you got those in the far future. You got Science Hill next week. There's not as much motivation there. This is a team you have beaten the last few times you played them. So, is there any drop off now that the kind of revenge list is done?
No.
No, sir.
Yeah, we got to get better every week. They're 3-0 right now. There's nothing saying they couldn't come out and do something. We've got to show up.
And so, Coach Hunt doesn't get any easier after you get a good win like this.
No, sir.
Absolutely
Pushes
not.
us even harder.
He's pretty consistent.
Yes, sir.
Even harder. I wonder where he got that from. I don't know who
never
could have.
know.
I don't know who could have taught him that. That is what coaching example he could be drawing on there.
I would have no idea who would that be, but no, Derek. You know, as you know, he played for me over at Maryville College, and just he was an outstanding quarterback for us.
I think he was taking on linebackers before that was a thing for quarterbacks to do.
He was. He hit his head a few times. That we had help him off the field, but you know, he didn't stay off the field very long. He's a tough football player for us.
But okay, and guys, talking a little bit about last night's game. Did you all feel you had taken over this game by the time you got to half and you're up 21-0, or were you still concerned about what West posed and would be able to do?
Yeah, they were a really athletic team. They could make a play at any time. So at halftime, our coaches told the defense, keep on playing like you are. You guys are doing great. Offense, keep on driving through and pushing the ball into the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say we were concerned about West. We were concerned about ourselves kind of letting up a little bit and not just full throttle.
Because you don't want to let up against a team like that.
Absolutely not, no. So, yeah, we faced some adversity, too. They scored. We didn't score on our first drive, and we fought that adversity.
And is there any – you're almost to the halfway point. That second half of the season, is there anybody that you all might personally have circled for your own motivation as to somebody you want to make a point against?
I mean, I just my big circle is the state championship.
State champ, getting there.
Yep, same for me.
Is that kind of what this senior class is kind of focused on? Is getting back to the Blue Cross Bowl?
Yes,
sir.
Well, that's a good goal to have.
I mean, absolutely.
Aim high, I think, is how that goes, right?
Yeah. Hey, let me say this. You know, you planning to go to Davidson. There was a basketball player, very famous basketball player from Davidson. You all know who that is?
He's playing trivia with me, and I haven't had a full cup of coffee.
You know who it is?
Yes, sir.
Steph Curry.
Oh, that's right.
That's where he went, and you know, he's probably
he's famous.
Yeah, you know, he's probably the best basketball player in the world right now.
Could be the best shooter, no doubt.
Went to
about
Davidson
that.
and all that,
Yes,
so
sir.
you know, we expect to have a great football player from Davidson.
Yes, sir.
Well, guys, thank you for making us part of your circuit, because I know you all have Maryville Radio that you've been enjoying some of their Tuesday night shows. So we appreciate you getting up to come in and visit with us this morning, because I'm sure after last night you may be a little bit tired. Maybe you have a bruise or two, so we appreciate making the effort. We wish you the best of luck next week against Science Hill.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
We'll take a timeout here, and when we return, Donnie Moore will provide high school scores and news from around the area, and then we'll get ready to mark it down. You're listening to the Sports Page, Blount County Sports Voice, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
It's payday, and on payday, you want to have access to your money right away. When you enroll for direct deposit at Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union, your money comes to you with no waiting. It's the fastest and most secure way to get paid. Getting set up is easy. All you need is your account number and our routing number. Find out more at tvacreditunion.com.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Some restrictions apply. Ask for details.
Since 1925, Anderson Lumber in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. But did you know Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store? You can stop in anytime and see our incredible kitchen showroom. From floors to cabinets and everything in between, Anderson Lumber's experts can help you design your dream kitchen. And then our install team will make it a reality.
Wow.
For anything home, we welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber, since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, Amplifiers, lessons, sound system and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply.
And welcome back to the Goatee Sports page. This is Marcus Fitzsimmons filling in for Mike Edwards, who is, I believe, taking in the F1 race in Nashville this weekend. So, Donnie,
he is indeed.
You got scores from around the area because it was an exciting week 4 in high school football.
Week 4, you're right. Exciting would be a good way to describe it, Marcus. So let's get right into the local scoreboard sponsored by Mandy B Street Realty. Prep football this weekend started out on Thursday night in a Thursday night rivalry game over at Goddard Field in Alcoa when the Greenville Green Devils trekked this way. Greenville's a good football team. No
Very
question
good
about
football
that.
team.
You and I both saw
And
that,
let me say,
game, Marcus.
Good team.
Yes.
They have some stars, but that is a really good team.
It is.
Plays very well together.
They do. They mesh really well. Play. You're right. They do play as a team very well. The Tornadoes scored first in that game, went up 7-0, and then Greenville scored twice in the first half. Thought they had the momentum on their side, but not to be. Alcoa comes back, the Tornadoes roar back and score in the waning seconds of the first half. After Greenville had missed an extra point, by the way.
They didn't miss it.
Well, it was blocked.
It was blocked.
It was blocked. You're right. So the defense came through there, blocked that extra point, and you know, so many times a missed or blocked extra point can be even the difference in the game.
Absolutely.
It certainly was the difference in the first half. So, but Alcoa scored and went up 14-13 before halftime. Second half was all Tornadoes. The rains came a little bit,
all Tornadoes,
and it was all Tornadoes. Yeah.
If I've done the measurements, and we're going to talk about it. We got some guests coming on right after this, but when you have the ball for 7 minutes in the second half, you're in trouble. unless you're Tennessee, you're in trouble.
Precisely. But anyway, the upshot is that the final score turned out to be Alcoa 31, Greenville 13. Greenville did not score in the second half.
No, they
didn't even get close to scoring in the second half. But great game for the Tornadoes, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Last night's games, Eagleton went up to West Green and played obviously really well. Scored 37 points to West Green's 15, and came home with a victory.
That's
and I got the box score here from today's paper, but the last 5:44 of the second quarter, Eagleton scored 4 touchdowns.
Good grief!
How do you do that?
Well, according
Tell
to
me.
there was a 5-yard drive. Then we had a 66-yard pass on the first play, a 45-yard interception return, and a 47-yard pass to end the half.
Wow.
Goodness. Broke their backs right there, didn't they?
You know, they've really done a good job of being – is this their second year?
It's their second varsity year.
Second varsity year.
I mean, they've done a really nice job over there. And, you know,
and they've
congratulations.
Just got seniors this year.
Certainly.
And, you know, Coach Childs has taken them in the right direction. They're starting off well.
Sure.
So I expected them to get a win. I didn't expect them to win that convincingly because it was they pretty much had this thing salted away, and they gave up a touchdown late, but and had to score went ahead and scored again themselves. But I mean, they pretty much kept a 3-touchdown lead for most of the second half.
Well, moving on, a couple of our area teams hosted teams last night and got shut out. One of them being Greenback. The Harriman Blue Devils came to town and shut out Greenback 41-0.
Yeah.
Greenback's struggling, and they're
struggling, but the good sign for them was they had 24 kids out there last night,
that is great. That's up from 18.
Yeah, which is more than, I mean, that's a significant personnel boost from where they were.
There's a lot of behind-the-scenes issues going on.
Some of those guys have only been back on the football field for 10 days, so I expect that to play into October more than September.
It should, yes, it should. The other team who hosted last night in Blount County was Heritage, and after a couple of convincing wins, Heritage got blown out by Powell, 38-0. But
Powell's a very good team.
Powell's a good team, and you can't make mistakes against them.
No.
And Heritage special teams, they had 2 really costly turnovers where the punts didn't get off. And when you give Powell that kind of field position and that kind of situation, you're going to go down 21-0 very quickly. And that's exactly what happened.
That's what happened.
But that said, as much as Heritage couldn't score, and that's an issue that they will deal with, their defense still put up a pretty good fight. They gave up, they gave up those easy, but they were in bad positions in those first 3. But the rest of the way, they gave up one really big chunk play, but they pretty much were able to hang with Powell, not stop them, but at least hang with them.
Right.
So they've got the defense where as long as you didn't have Powell and Knox West in your district, you can play for a playoff spot.
No kidding. But that's 2 big hurdles right there. Yeah. Maryville was dominant in their win over Knox West last night at West.
Yeah.
35-14, and we talked a little bit about the game earlier, so we don't need to dwell on that. But
still,
they look really good.
Yeah, still they beat the 5A state champion who beat Maryville twice the previous 2 years.
Yeah, last 2 years.
And you go to their place to beat them. I mean, that was a very significant win for Maryville.
Sure was. And then our final local game, I should say. We've got a couple more scores for you. But William Blount went up to Morristown East last night at Burke Tar Stadium and pulled off a squeaker, 34-33.
Yeah,
Govs win.
On an unbeaten East team.
Really.
Played at our place.
And it was
that's Carson Newman Stadium.
And William Blount had this in hand. It was like 27-12. And East put up 3 scores and took the lead, and Dabrowski had to throw a touchdown pass in the final couple minutes to get them back ahead, and then I think they still had to get a turnover in the final drive to stop East from answering. So good win for the Govs to win on the road. I mean,
sure was.
That's how you want to bounce back after a loss.
And they could have fallen apart after East coming back and scoring those touchdowns and losing the lead, but they hung in there, and like I said, I got a lot of friends on that coaching staff over there, and congratulations to them.
Exactly. And a couple more scores of fairly local interest. Seymour fell to Gibbs last night, 58-28.
I didn't get to a lot of details. I know Seymour's running back, I understood he had a good night. Had a phenomenal game last week.
Yes, he did.
But, they're still building.
Right.
Still rebuilding over there.
Yep. And our other team that we follow pretty closely here on the sports page, the Goatee sports page, is TKA, the Kings Academy, and they fell last night to Lenore City, 37-14.
And Kings has been up and down. I think we're back on another down a little bit, but
I think another down cycle.
When you're playing in that Division II, it's all about who you can board now, and
yeah, exactly.
We often gripe about the transfer rules in high school right now, but they're even worse in Division II, where you can have kids moving mid-semester and some of that stuff that goes on. It makes it very hard to be competitive in Division II if you're not at the top.
I don't understand how kids can transfer right in the middle of the season to a different place and be able to go. I mean,
Well, we saw it at Bradley Central. We had a quarterback that played for Cleveland one week and played for Bradley Central
I mean,
the next.
how does that happen? I mean, it's gone. We think it's gone nuts in college football, but it's going crazier.
Sure.
In high school.
Speaking of Bradley Central, I saw where they got beat last night too. They lost
did
as well.
They lost 28-7 last night.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's those are your local scores from the Mandy B Street Realty local scoreboard, and we'll leave it at that. And Marcus, flip it back to you.
Flipping it to me. Well, I'm going to put all the attention on our guest over here. He's been sitting here quietly, just kind of watching us do our thing. But Eli Graff has joined us this morning from Alcoa. And first, thanks for coming in.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad the tornado sent you on the bootleg left to come visit us all by yourself. But Donnie mentioned his 31-13 win over Greenville. I just want to ask you about that span where you all went down and you had a fumble. Greenville looked to be in a position where things could totally go their way. And you all went on a 2-minute drive to score before half, come out of half and run. I don't know if it was intentional to run a 69-second drive to score, but and take over the game. What happened in that span? Like, what was there something on the sideline where somebody said this is what we're going to do? Or
yeah, I would say just the senior leaders, I think, kind of took control after that fumble. I came over the sideline. I told them that's my fault, but we still got a lot of game ahead of us, so we can't dwell on that. But yeah, we had that. I knew when we got that, they scored, and then we got the ball back. 2 minutes left. In practice every day, we practice 2-minute drills, so I was comfortable in that situation. I think all the other guys were, and just to go down and score right before half, I think made a statement. So I think that was we had good momentum coming out of half, and then I got that kick return, and then we scored right there, and I think all the momentum shifted our way for the rest of the night after that.
talk about that kickoff return, because it was I think 58, 59 yards, put you on business at the 41 with a short field. Was there something particular about that one? Was there a particular seam or a particular setup you all had?
Not really. I think our guys, I think they just blocked good. They just blocked good on that one like they always do. I think I always find where Eli Owens is at, which hole he's blocking. I follow him up the field, and it works out pretty well for me every time. So.
And that seems like a challenge because it seems like it'd be hard to spot him on the field.
Yeah, I know.
If for those not familiar, Eli has a fairly recognizable presence on the football field if you've never seen 44 out there. But talk a little bit about the way you all have kind of, as a small senior class, and you all are the main parts of the offense. How do you all kind of mesh this thing together?
I thought I said it from the beginning of the season. I think the only thing we were lacking was experience. I think we got talent. I think we got people that want to be there and work hard. So I think experience was the only thing we were missing. And after the first 2 games, I think we played 2 tough teams, and that put us in a great position for the rest of the season, I think.
And you had some things working. I mentioned this to Donnie while we were watching the game up in the press box, was you had a nice little out route pattern to Eli that I don't think they ever truly defended. And I told Donnie
absolutely.
It looked, and I may be wrong, and maybe you don't want to tell me, but it looked very similar to what you were doing with Jameer Dean the week before against Bearden.
Yeah, well, we knew Greenville was coached well, and they were going to watch that film and see that we threw it to Jameer like 10 times on the out route. So we just switched it up, and we had Jameer go down, just run a streak down the field, and then Eli run the out route. And they didn't start really covering it until the 4th quarter when we tried to run it. So they made some good halftime adjustments, but yeah, it was working the whole first half.
I want to ask you a question. Tell me about the very end of the Bearden game, the emotions that it took place. That just absolutely incredible way to finish the game. Go ahead.
So obviously we had to punt, and then they have a great drive, go score. Their quarterback gets hurt, and then backup comes in, scores. So, I think everyone in the stands was kind of thinking after they got that 2-point conversion. That
How many seconds left?
Like 14.
14 seconds.
They got 2-point conversion with 14 seconds left. And then we go on kickoff return, and I think their coaches ran on the field or something, so they got a flag, and they got back to 15 yards. So that kind of put us in great position. And They kick it to me, and then I started out in the middle, but then our coaches told me and one guy to switch, so I went to the left side, and I don't think they saw me. So they kicked it to me, and I just got to the other side of the field, and then I looked up on the clock when I was running. There was like 3 seconds left, so I kind of just started going towards the sideline to make sure the clock didn't run out, and then obviously Kyron hit the field goal. So.
That was totally.
But what question you asking? What was he doing while that field goal kick was getting lined up?
I was standing on the sideline and watching and praying, but I knew he was going to make it.
There's nothing the quarterback can do in that situation.
No.
The holder as well.
Absolutely.
All you can do is wait and watch.
Yeah, but what impresses me is that you had enough presence to be able to see how many seconds were left on the clock while you were still running, and said, "Hey, I need to get down or out of bounds and stop the clock right now," and all that. I mean, that was a win for the. You'll be an old man like me one day, like me, and you'll still remember that game, and that's totally incredible.
And how much energy bled off of that game into going into this week against? I mean, you had like a week off in between, so did it carry over that momentum, or was it hard to do?
I think it definitely made some of the guys want to come in and work even harder because they had that feeling of getting a big time win against a big time program. So I think it just made them want to work harder, and they knew that feeling. They want to feel it every week. So.
And I'm sure Coach Nix just lets up after a big win and just says, y'all don't have to work this one. Is that how it works? Or
no, you already know that.
I'm shocked that he didn't ask that question.
Well, one of the things that impressed me, and it's the same thing we could say about Maryville, the coaching staff you all have, they are very invested in you guys. They are, and they're very detailed with you guys as far as improving as players. And you've been part of the program for 4 years. So, like, if you were to compare where you were as a freshman to where you are now, would freshman Eli believe what senior Eli is doing?
I want to say yeah, but I don't know, probably not, because it's hard coming in as a freshman.
It is.
So you just lose your confidence a little bit. But then to be where I am now, like you said, it's thanks to the coaching staff and my teammates around me. So.
Would he have believed how much work you've had to put in over the last 4 years?
I think so. I think I was already used to the work. I'd done it all the way through middle school, so I think I was already ready for that and knew what it was going to take to get to this point.
Well, Coach Nix told me a story about you after the Bearden game, and I want to find out if this is true. But what was your bench press as a freshman?
Well, I think like 135 or something.
And what is it now?
Like last time max it was 265.
That's what I thought.
Pretty good.
That's 4 years of work.
Sure
that doesn't happen just from a couple months here.
That's
and there.
not by accident. No.
That means you can bench press me. Well, maybe a little bit. Might be a little bit.
I was going to say I don't think we want to try that. This isn't game day. We don't do things like that here, Tony. Our insurance doesn't cover it. So Eli, what's been? Coaches talked about this being a young team, and when we look at the number of sophomores you all have out there, and not just starters, but the backups of sophomore. When you're trying to integrate those guys into the Alcoa way, and there's only 7 seniors to do that, does that get challenging at times?
I think it does, but I think me and all the other seniors just continue to be patient with the guys because, they're young, obviously, like you said, and Coach Nix does a really good job of helping us out with that, like kind of pushing us in the right direction if we need it. So, it's hard sometimes, but also these guys, they know how Alcoa is. They know most of them grow up in Alcoa, so they know what it takes to be on this football team, and I think that they've been doing a good job of that.
And we know where that end goal is. I don't think it changes at Alcoa. Does this senior class have any other things besides wanting to be in that championship? Well, the senior class probably wants to win that championship game, but getting to there, are there any other check marks you all have along the way?
I think you're trying to bait me into saying beating Maryville.
No, I was not going anywhere near Maryville.
I knew.
I didn't ask them about. I did not ask the Rebels about Alcoa when they were here. I asked them a fairly similar question, but it's, you haven't even started region play yet. So is there there's been seasons where you've played there where you all didn't give up a point in region play, or things like that on that checklist, or is it just to get the win?
I don't think we're even worried about it. I think we're just worried about winning out for the rest of the season. Not even just beating Maryville, but also beating West, which is another good team that we're going to play. So I think just winning out. I told most of the team that if we won that Bearden game, which I had a good feeling we were going to, that I don't think we would lose the rest of the season. I think the momentum would take us to the end. So I have a good feeling about that.
And you look at it, and you do have West, you do have Maryville, and you've already played 6A schools. It's similar schedule last year. Do you all feel that impact of winning games like that and being competitive in games like that? I mean, coaches talk about it, but do the players actually feel like, getting that win is a big thing?
It's going to, it feels a lot better to beat a 6A team than like a 3A or 2A team. So, I mean, I'm glad our Coach Nix has put us in the position to play those type of games. I mean, so I think it just helps us so much more than playing some other teams week 1 and week 2. I don't think we would have beat Greenville by 18 points if we hadn't have played those first 2 games. So, just thanks to Coach Nix for putting us in those positions.
And I'm gonna give you a chance here since they sent you by yourself. You got anybody on your shout out list?
Shout out list, the O-line. I'll shout out the O-line.
The O-line?
They blocked great on Thursday, so they made it easy for me and the other running backs to run the ball. So yeah, shout out those guys.
And then we were talking with the seniors that were here earlier. College plans, I understand maybe you've gotten some of those settled now?
Yeah, I'm planning on going to Hardin University. It's in Arkansas. They're #1 team in D2 right now, so that's where I'm planning on playing quarterback at.
And there's now Alcoa tie out there, if I'm not wrong. Well, you just graduated.
Yeah, Landon Ray.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just if he's started medical school this fall, if I heard
so,
right.
Yeah.
Nice.
But so how did that connection take place? Did he help with that, or did you all find each other separately?
It was mostly Coach Nix kind of talked to him, and they liked my film, and they wanted me to come to a camp, so I went out there, and then they offered me, and then a couple weeks later, I ended up committing to them. Because I love the place, I love the coaches and the atmosphere. I think it's a great place not only to grow as a football player, to grow as a person, get closer with God. So I think it's just a great opportunity for me.
Harding, great place. I mean, they won the national championship. They threw the ball only 38 times all season last year.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about running. They run the flex bone just like we do now, and so I mean,
great place for a running quarterback.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep, great place to be at.
And that was the next question. Do they envison you as a running quarterback, or do they want you to be knocking people around?
I think they envision me as a running quarterback for the most part. I mean, so I think that when they watch my film, that's something they liked about me. And obviously, they liked that I could play a lot of different positions, and I was athletic, so I would fit perfectly in their offense.
And I'll let you go with this one, but do you know what it is that makes you so competitive? Because we watch you, and like people get tackled and they go down. If you need 4.5 yards, you're getting 4.5 yards in an inch, and it's rare that does not happen. But what drives that competitive? That feeds that?
I think I've just always had it in me since a young age. Growing up just playing sports from a young age, I kind of developed that. I remember as a kid, if I was playing with like my friends or something, I'd always get mad if I lost. So I just always want to win, and I don't like losing. And coming to Alcoa, I think that was perfect because I mean we win a lot. So I'm just not used to losing and not used to, not giving my all. So I guess that's what it is.
All right. Now, we're going to wish you all the best of luck because we know you open region play next week with Austin East coming to visit. And then, of course, as you said, you got Knox West and Maryville still on that schedule. So we wish you all the best of luck. And, state champions are always welcome back as long as they bring the trophy. So we'll give you that invitation and challenge to come back so you can get up early on a Saturday morning and come visit with old people.
I love it.
All right. Eli, thanks for coming to visit. We appreciate it. Donnie, I think we're just going to roll on into a little break if you've got the commercials ready.
I do. All right. Let's do it.
The Blue Tick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza. Made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Blue Tick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Blue Tick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville. The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stephensontire.net. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland. Excellence in service.
And welcome back to the Blue Tick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Marcus Fitzsimmons along with the rest of our broadcast crew. And now it's time for the Sports Page Player of the Week, sponsored by Anderson Lumber Company, where quality service is always a priority. Proudly serving Blount County for over 75 years. And for our Player of the Week segment, Donnie, I couldn't think of anybody better this week, more deserving. We brought in the Heritage Lady Mountaineer soccer team. They're coming off a 6-0 win over William Blount on Tuesday, which was, for those of you who don't know, the only district game William Blount soccer is going to play this year.
Yep.
And
big win.
Big win, convincing win, in-school game, which I think may have impacted the players a little bit. But we're joined this morning, and Coach, I've had this question 4 times in the last 2 weeks. How do you say your last name?
Bartezel.
Bartezel.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well,
I have not.
Now you know.
I said, well, he's got to be related to me somewhere along the line.
It's not Nico level difficult, but it's one of those that I have not said right yet until now. So Bartezel. Well, Coach Bartezel is here with us. He's brought some Lady Mountaineers with him. Coach, you want to go ahead and introduce who you've brought and what role they're playing on the team?
Yeah, I've got Ren Weiss with me. She's one of my starting center backs. She's a senior this year, so unfortunately she's on the way out, but we'd love to have her.
But not yet.
Not yet. No, we got to finish strong.
That's right.
And she's one of several seniors you've got on this team, right?
That's right. Yep, we've got 11 of them this year.
Wow.
That makes
Very
a big difference, especially when you're having a transition year.
Yeah.
And were they helpful, or did they give you that look when you walked in the room?
Honestly, I felt welcomed right away. I mean, I almost felt like I've been coaching all along, but I think there's a sense of leadership, urgency in the room. They're very intentional with their training, and we got that pretty much right away. So.
Well, it's worked off to a good start, 9-2, 1-1 in the district.
Yes, sir.
But unfortunately, this is group play in the District of Death,
That's
and
right.
everything is just building to the tournament position. What does this team need to do in this last couple of weeks to get it tournament ready?
I think you know, for them, they realize this is kind of their last shot at it. You know, we'll be moving out of the district next year just due to population at the school. You know, so I think they want it. You know, and that's just getting everyone to buy into the same mentality that we've got a job to do. We know it's not going to be easy, but for them, it's you know, really just how bad we want it. The talent's there. I think the opportunity's there. You know, if you had talked to the same group of seniors 4 years ago, I mean, they were right there with the best of them. So I think now maybe is just their time to let everyone know who they are.
And we're going to put you on the spot as the voice of the senior class on the team, all right?
Okay.
Who's the motivator out of this group? Who is the one who is always up and keeping y'all going, sideline? The score's never too far away. You're always in it.
Well, I don't really want to push it on one person because I think that's unfair to everyone else. We pretty much, as a whole senior class, we are huge motivators, all of us. You know, we've got Kyla, who wasn't able to be here. She is one of the most positive people I've ever met in my entire life. She's always cheering us along, no matter. We could be one goal away from being mercy rolled, and she's still pushing us. You know, we've got 5 captains. So we definitely have leadership on the pitch, and it's just as important off the pitch. So we've got a bunch of people that help to push us on the sideline, and I think that's why we're doing so well so far. Is we're such a close-knit group of girls that have been playing together for quite a while. So just having that relationship between all of us, and Tom has made it better. Of course, there's not a single minute where he's not telling us to do something or pushing us along. Sometimes it's, you know, we're just kind of like, just let us play, but I mean, it's nothing bad. I mean, I'd rather him do it than not do it. So we all push each other equally. There's not one above the rest.
And kind of reverse of what I asked him, but you have the coaching change, and when he walks in the room, was it an instant connection where you're all like, we can do this with him? We can be competitive?
So it took our assistant coach, Greg Lemons, he kind of took over during the summer. So we had practices where he was the coach, and he did his best, and we got out there and we put in the work. But it was obvious we needed to know who our head coach was going to be, because, you know, you have to start getting everyone used to it. And when Tom came in, I mean, we're used to having Kristen, who is our tall woman coach, and then Tom walks in, and it was definitely, it took a little bit of getting used to, but I think we all really clicked very quickly. You know, we joke around all practice. He gets all the little jokes we say, which I think is really fun. But yeah, he's been incredible to our program. So I think, yeah, we're very grateful for him and all that.
And that's, I mean, it has to work, because, I mean, if you have a big senior class like you all have, you can make or break a coach.
Oh, yeah.
And everything seems to have been clicking from the outside looking in at what you guys are doing.
Mm-hmm.
When did you all get the sense that this was going to be a good year? Not that you wanted it to be a good year, but when you got, at what point, when you got on the pitch and got the win, did you think, wow, we're on to something here?
I'm not sure. I think it was a collection of moments, but I think it really started kicking in. We had our very first game was against Oak Ridge, and that was kind of our first real test. We had a tournament the weekend before, but, you know, this is, even though they're not a district game, this is our first real experience as a team of Heritage High School soccer. This is our first test of, hey, this is how we actually can play. So coming out and beating a very good Oak Ridge team really, really gave us that boost of confidence and made us realize, hey, we can actually do this. We can go as far as we wish to go if we can put in the work to it. And we've put in so much work over the summer, over weekends, and it's just, I think we're just going to keep getting better, and we keep realizing, hey, we couldn't do this before, but we can now. So we really need to make the most out of it with the roster we have and the coach we have. And this is, like Tom said, this is our last year in the District of Death. So we want to go out with a bang.
Coach, she brought up the game I was hoping that would get mentioned. That's the win over Oak Ridge.
Yep.
Did they have that monster forward playing? Was she playing in the beginning? I've forgotten her name. She's like 5'11" and
Haven.
Yep.
That would be her.
Haven. Yeah.
She is just hard to stop. And I was just wondering how you all kind of, if she was playing, how you all kind of dealt with her.
Well, she actually wasn't playing in that game.
Okay.
But I will give you this. Oak Ridge is, as Ren said, they're a very good team. They've got a lot of depth. There's 20 girls lined up on that sideline that are ready to go, that are playing at the same level as Haven. Her IQ is great. She's a phenomenal player. But, as you experience, as you get to a more competitive level, it's really next one up. Who's going to take that spot when, if they can't play for whatever reason, injury, whatever other commitment or whatever's kind of standing in that way. Adversity is it's a big deal. It happens, and there's no timing on it. So for us, I guess it didn't matter who was out there. We have a job to do, and we only can control what we can control. So I think it was important that no matter who was out there, we were going to have to handle it regardless. It's a very good Oak Ridge team. So.
And is that kind of where you want to see the program be, is where you have 20 lined up alongside that you can interchange with that are playing on a very high level?
Yeah. I mean, we've lost a little bit of the population, from Heritage. So inevitably we've got a numbers issue, right? But I think how we do this year will hopefully create the standard going forward. We're a tough, competitive team. We want to compete. Nick Saban brings up a great quote that I love is mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people. So everyone's got to buy into the same mentality, and that's what we're trying to create there. So, we would love to see everyone come out, and compete, but tomorrow's not promised, and I don't think anything's given. So you do have to put in the work if you want to hold that standard, if you want to achieve at a high level. So.
And I'll give you the opportunity to brag a little bit because about the in-school game. You had students out there. You have 5 goal scorers, a couple assists in there. I think almost everybody contributed in one way or another in that win. Yeah. You want to brag on some of the players who kind of shined in that win over William Blount?
Sure, yeah. I want to say, was it Kylie who started the scoring?
The first one, yeah.
Yep, so Kylie Marsh, one of our seniors, started the scoring. We were only up 1-0 at half, so, it was competitive, right? They did their job. They did what they were supposed to do, but I'd argue we're a second-half team. I think we come out strong in the second half. I believe Aiden Van Tile had a goal. Ren had a goal, right? Our seniors were scoring. It was exciting. It's hard, right, when you're playing an 80-minute soccer game. By the 60, 70th minute, fatigue starts to set in, and whether you're attacking a lot, whether you're defending a lot, no matter what job you're doing out there, it is not easy. So I think for them to go out 1-0 at half, put on 4 more goals, 5 more goals in the second half, says a lot about who we are. So, they're just relentless. The effort's there. So it was exciting to see. And we had so many fans out there. It was awesome to see. There were a lot of people out there. Yeah.
You were even more popular than snow cones, and that was hard to do. Because I watched that snow cone line did not drop until after halftime, but you all still had more people watching the game than were in the line.
Yep.
Now, Ren, was your goal the one from deep in the corner? That was.
Yes.
Talk about that goal, because it was so far in, we thought you were in line for snow cones. We couldn't even see you from the press box. All we saw was the ball just came arcing out of nowhere. Talk about that shot.
Yeah, so one of my big things is speed of play, and I really like when we can get the ball moving really quickly. So the ball went out, and I really like to get a really fast throw in, catch the other team by surprise, get us going down to the corner. So I ran up to get the ball. Brenna Hayes she's one of our sophomores. She was right in front of me, so I threw it to her and I called for it back. And I will be honest, that it was a cross. It was not a shot. I just got very lucky on it.
She's on. I was going to. That was my next question because I had doubts and I was curious, but
no, it was a cross. That's one of my favorite things to do is to go down the side and then give a driven ball in. So that was the goal, but I mean, a goal came out of it either way. So
Worked out great.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I mean,
we'll take lucky any day.
That's right.
If I remember it correctly, it bounced in front of the keeper and then did like a little kick spin on it after the bounce and fell into the goal.
Nice.
The beauty of some backspin. That's right.
And I'm not sure you weren't as surprised as everybody else.
I was surprised. It took me a little bit. That's only my second goal of the season, and before I was out for injury, I was playing in a forward position, so I was putting a lot away. So it's weird to be in defense now and then hit one like that. So yeah, I didn't expect that to happen.
Well, talk a little bit about. There was one thing condition-wise I was wondering about. You all have a beautiful soccer field right out there in front of the school, but it's made for seating maybe a couple hundred and people standing around it.
Yeah.
With that kind of situation, you all were playing on the turf over at Lillard Field. Mm-hmm. It was warm.
Yes.
It wasn't summer warm, but it was warm out there. Mm-hmm. And you're dealing with the pellets, and you're dealing with a whole bunch of different lines from football and other things. Was that an adjustment, like to go from the grass you all are used to playing on the artificial turf?
So if you didn't know, turf, a soccer ball moves a lot faster on turf than it does on natural grass. And this was also only our second time playing on the turf, second game playing on the turf. We had a couple people fall over the ball. I was one of them. It's, your feet get caught. It's very different from playing on the regular field, and it's hot.
I noticed you all had tents out there, Coach. You had pair of pop-ups.
Yes, yes. Very thankful for those.
Yep.
But no, it was definitely it's definitely a change from going to our field to the turf field, and I like playing on them both. We're just all more used to playing on the grass, so it was definitely a change coming on. But there's schools that we're going to play that play on turf, so that's something that we just have to get used to. You can't go your whole soccer career without playing on turf. So.
Well, yeah, but playing on turf at 7 o'clock at night when the sun's kind of down and the lights are on, that's a little different than when it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and it's in the high 80s.
Oh, yeah.
It was not super pleasant, but we had to put it away.
I'm going to put you on the spot because I know he's sitting right here beside you.
Yeah.
And he controls how much you're all going to run at practice on Monday.
Oh.
But what's the drill that he puts out there that you hate when he calls that's what you're going to do in practice?
That's a good question.
Your eyes twitching.
I think Coach knows the answer.
Honestly, we play. We've only done this once. It was a half field, pretty much suicide run drill. We had a goal on each touch line, and our keeper punted the ball out to Tom, who was sitting on the opposite 18, and we had to sprint from the half line to the 18, shoot, and then fully sprint back and chase a ball. And we did not have many people that day, so we were basically going back to back to back. And his favorite phrase is, "It's just a push one, it's just a push one." Just a push one is not light work. And, we warm up we do our dynamics, and then we go into a rondo. And after about 5 minutes, everybody's on edge because we always do a push one right after our rondo, and that's a full 100% sprint around our field plus the practice football field next to us. And we're all just a push one. He really makes it sound light, but it is not that at all. So it's pretty much anything that involves the loser has to do a push one, which is a lot.
Coach, I think you knew what the answer was going to be.
I had a little bit of an idea. Yeah, they certainly love those push ones. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I love is the way she expressed it. That
I felt that. Yeah, I
brings it
felt
together
that.
really well.
Absolutely.
I'm going to give you the chance. Shout out wise, you've got a lot of people around the program when you're supporting a grass field and when you're running concessions and taking tickets and all that sort of stuff. Just to give you a chance to shout out for those folks that are helping out around the program.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, shoot, there's definitely a few of them. We've got Tyra Perkins. She's phenomenal. Krista Masingo. Obviously Coach Lemons, Ren's dad, Alex Weiss. Those are the primary three. We've got gentleman Dwayne Allen. He also lines the fields every practice, every game that we've got.
As well.
Keely Boyce helps out with T-shirts, fundraising. I mean, it's
Chandra.
all hands on deck. Chandra Pickering, yep. Robbie's been phenomenal. Pretty much anything we've asked, he's helped us out. Robbie Bennett, our AD. Jed West is in full support of it as well. I'm a firm believer that I can coach. I know the game. I love this game. I'm passionate about it. But in my second year, I would not have any idea what I'm doing. It's as Robbie says, it's 1/4. Coaching's 1/4 of what you do when you're dealing with a high school team. So I don't think we'd be where we were or where we are now without any of those guys. So.
Well, here on the sports page, we're always fun of bringing up our own ideas and ways to promote y'all. So,
where are we going?
This is my question. This is my question. The football teams play for the battle for the bell. I'm wondering why we don't have the same thing for soccer, where we could have the battle of the bells or something along that line, and maybe have a smaller bell that goes back and forth to the winner. I mean, could that be on the wish list maybe for Coach Bennett to work that out with William Blunt?
Thinking about it.
Man, we should. That's a great question for him. That's a great question for him.
Yeah, I'm also good at putting people on the spot for that. But
he's like I said, he's been in full support. I mean, really, there's not been much that I haven't asked for that he's been able to give us, and he's pitched it to us a few times. What you need, we're going to make happen. I mean, he believes in a successful program with all of his sports, so it's important that we go out and do our job, and I think that helps make a lot of the decisions a lot easier. So, sure, a bell in the future maybe, but for now we're just happy to compete.
So, and like I said, we appreciate you guys coming in.
Yeah,
I wish you the best of luck going down the road. We do have something here, though, for Ren, because this is the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week. So the Player of the Week actually does get a little award from us.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much.
Look at that.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
So, and if Donnie gets his head out of the way of the camera, there we go.
There you go.
You can hold that up for the camera so
moving.
people can see that at home if they're watching on the live stream on
you got
Facebook or YouTube.
School locker, don't you?
I
Put
do,
that right out.
And it will fit.
Yeah.
Will it?
They tell me that it will fit in a locker. I don't know if that's
Awesome.
true for all school lockers, but
That's
it
good
at
to
least
know.
fits
That's
in
great.
one of them.
That's awesome.
But like I said, we appreciate you guys coming in. We wish you the best of luck because we know you got some tough games the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
And, kind of what I was telling Eli Graff earlier on when he was visiting, we have an open invitation for state champions to come back as long as they bring the trophy. So
Good to
if your
know.
goals
Good
were
to
set
know.
that high, and I hope they are,
Absolutely.
you are welcome to come back and visit with us later on this
All
year.
right. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
for having
you
us.
so much for having
Absolutely.
us.
Thank
Because we appreciate it, and Donnie's giving me the signal that it's time for a break, and we'll return. It's the UT Sports Report and the Murphy's Bobcat SEC Notebook. You're listening to the Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Since 1925, Anderson Lumber in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. But did you know Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store? You can stop in anytime and see our incredible kitchen showroom. From floors to cabinets and everything in between, Anderson Lumber's experts can help you design your dream kitchen. And then our install team will make it a reality.
Wow.
For anything home, we welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber, since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply. Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
It's payday, and on payday, you want to have access to your money right away. When you enroll for direct deposit at Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union, your money comes to you with no waiting. It's the fastest and most secure way to get paid. Getting set up is easy. All you need is your account number and our routing number. Find out more at tvacreditunion.com.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Some restrictions apply. Ask for details.
And welcome back to the Blue Tick Tavern in Maryville. This is Marcus Fitzsimmons, and we've moved things around a little bit this morning to accommodate having an extra set of guests.
Yeah.
But we're going to be going into the Cherokee Group UT Sports Report after Donnie gives us the headlines and what's going on in the latest in the sports world. And these are special headlines: seasoned, prepped, braised, glazed, prepared by Donnie Moore just to be served up this morning.
Exactly. Thank you, Marcus, for that fantastic build-up. Let's get right into our sports headlines of the week, brought to you, as always, by Fast Signs. Well, contrary to statements made by Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, Dallas did not, quote, spend the most cash of any club in the National Football League this year on players, end of quote. In reality, it was the Cleveland Browns who spent the most cash on players. Both in 2023, they spent $292.6 million, and in 2024, this year, Cleveland has spent $334.6 million, while the Cowboys ranked 11th in 2023 at $260.6 million. And our 13th this year in 2024, spending $272.6 million. Jerry, you've been fact-checked.
Oh, no.
Donnie Moore fact-checked Jerry Jones.
What'd you come up with?
The ghost of Ray Trail just tipped his cigar over.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he said Dallas spent the most cash of any club in the National Football League. They did not.
No.
And that's a fact check right there. Well, the driver that has been charged with killing National Hockey League star Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew while they were bicycling in New Jersey had a blood alcohol level of 0.87%, 87 thousandths of 1%.
0.87?
0.87.
So usually
no, 0.087.
So
87 thousandths.
8.0087.
Yes. That's above New Jersey's legal limit of 0.08%.
Right. So he was legally drunk.
He was. 31-year-old Johnny and 29-year-old Matthew died on August 29th after being struck by a vehicle in Carneys Point, New Jersey. The driver was identified as 43-year-old Sean Higgins of Woodstown, New Jersey. Higgins has been charged with 2 counts of death by auto, along with reckless driving, possession of an open container, and consuming alcohol in a motor vehicle. He faces a possible sentence of 20 years in prison.
I hope it's the maximum amount.
Johnny Gaudreau played 10 full seasons in the NHL and was about to begin his 3rd year with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Matthew was also a professional hockey player in the East Coast Hockey League.
That's
Lives snuffed out.
Just a crying shame.
It is.
2 brothers and two great young men with families, and just such a senseless loss of life.
Senseless. That's the word I would give. That's the thought. My thought exactly. Well, the Inter Miami Football Club could have Lionel Messi back for the first time since June 1st when they take the pitch today against the Philadelphia Union. Head coach Tata Martino told reporters yesterday that Messi, one of the greatest players of all time, is no longer on a minutes restriction from his ankle injury and may make an appearance in today's contest. Pre-injury, Messi had 12 goals and 13 assists in only 12 games played.
That's pretty good.
He was on a roll.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Wow. Miami Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel announced yesterday that Skylar Thompson is the next man up under center, and he would not look to bring in an external starting quarterback, while Tua Tagovailoa is sidelined with his 3rd confirmed concussion of his career.
Yeah, right.
Pro career.
Pro career, yes.
Remember, he had one at Alabama.
Yes, his pro career. You're right.
I tell you, he's on the verge where it may be
his future may be in question.
Absolutely. Back in the old days, if you had 3 concussions, I'd say, all right, go back in, and that's it. But nowadays,
not now.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we've seen players who have had multiple concussions who have come back and played, and that's been their decision.
Correct.
In recent years, but we know what happened in the NFL before. I think what has made the call for Tua so much stronger than what we've seen previously is just how scary it looked.
Sure.
Because it wasn't like he bounced his head off of something and got up and was dizzy. He was out.
Oh yeah.
You could see it,
and his body kind of stiffened up and
it was you could see everything that was going wrong before he hit the ground.
Sure.
And that's got to be a concern because it was not the ground that caused it.
Correct.
It was impact on a perfectly legal, legitimate NFL
player,
hit.
But it was.
It wasn't even a hard hit.
No.
it was a glancing blow.
No, and
doesn't have to be.
It's a quarterback, and he's singled out a lot. Again, a lot of these guys who've had concussions, they're linemen, linebackers. They're compact in a group of guys, and they hit his head. But he's out in the open now, where everyone sees him and his reaction to the hit.
Yeah, he's a target.
Yeah, and it's like Derek Hunt, the great head coach over at Maryville High School, was another example for me where Derek, he had his went into his last season at Maryville College already having 2 concussions, and he was told before the season if he was going to get another concussion, that would be it. And then, lo and behold, it's like the 3rd series of the first game.
Yeah.
He took a hit and got a concussion, and unfortunately, we said that's it. And obviously, he's done great. Obviously, he says that as a coach. But that's something that.
Well, actually,
you remember.
I remember that play. Yeah. I remember that hit. I remember thinking that Derek should have never taken on a linebacker that size.
Well, just going back. We told Derek, hey, whenever you go down on the ground or run out of bounds, and Derek, he was about to go run out of bounds, and he decided to turn it back up and took that shot.
He was going for that first down.
Yes, he was.
But I think he has said that because he had to step away from playing football at that point, that's what helped launch his coaching career.
Sure.
And I've mentioned that just because there's so much focus on what should Tua play, should he not. he can still have a life. He doesn't have to be on the field as an NFL football player to have a life and a successful life and a productive
He's
life.
already made enough money to where he's going to be comfortable
new
for the
contract
rest
he
of his
signed.
life.
Beyond the money
Even beyond
aspect.
that, yes.
But, I mean, there are lots of ways to stay involved with football that don't
Sure.
involve being on the field and taking what could be a life-threatening hit.
Correct.
Well, and speaking of Tua, he exited Thursday's game against the Buffalo Bills with a head injury, and the Bills defeated the Dolphins 31-10. So, South Alabama shattered FBS program and conference records in Thursday night's 87-10 win over FCS opponent Northwestern State.
Right.
The victory was the highest scoring win by an FBS team over an FCS opponent in history.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to go.
Were you really?
I was honestly.
You were going to go?
My stepdaughter's she had her coding ceremony and physical therapy on Friday. Originally, I was planning to go down there Thursday night to watch the game and then go to the ceremony. Had to make change of plans, but I saw the score and I was like, man, that was the game I was going to.
You would have seen history. The previous record was 84 points set by Houston in 1990 and tied by Oklahoma State in 2012. South Alabama reached the record points total despite the game being cut short as the fourth quarter was replaced with a 6-minute running clock.
Yeah.
Mercy rule.
Yeah.
We have seen that creeping into college, and it's not officially in the rule book, is it, Tony?
No. What happened
It's
is
not.
after the third quarter, both coaches met and said, "Hey, let's cut this."
Well, I mean, but we saw that happen in an FBS game back in week 1.
Well, Kent State has petitioned the SEC to allow the mercy rule to be in effect in tonight's game.
It might be a good idea. A little history about Northwest. Was it Northwestern or is it not North?
Yeah, it was
Northwestern
Northwestern State.
Right. Blaine McCorkle, who I know and really comes from a great coaching family. Father Sam McCorkle was the head coach of West Alabama for many years. Back then it was called Livingston. And he took over a program which they had to cancel the last half of the season. They had a player that got shot and killed. And there were some things that goes on where, the university decided to shut down the football program after last season. And so Blaine has gone in there to rebuild the program. Obviously, they've lost all the previous players and all, so it's a tough situation right now. And Blaine's a great guy.
Yeah, it
I
is.
hope he gets around. But it was very class action by South Alabama's coach to say, hey, let's play 6 minutes, let's finish the game off.
Sure.
That's good.
Well, moving on, the Minnesota Twins have released former Coastal Carolina catcher and 6th-round draft pick Derek Bender after he reportedly told opposing batters which pitches would be thrown in low-A competition. He tipped off the opposing batters of what his pitcher was going to throw next.
Why in the world would he do that?
Well, I don't know, but I heard
He watched Bull Durham too many times? What?
Something might tell you here at the end of my article. The incident reportedly occurred during a September 6th doubleheader between Twins affiliate the Fort Myers Mighty Mussels and the Detroit Tigers affiliate Lakeland Flying Tigers. His team lost the game and was eliminated from playoff contention. He didn't want to go to the playoffs, obviously, for some reason.
I mean, talk about a career ender. I mean,
But that's right. He's released. He's gone.
Why would he do that? I have no.
That's mind-boggling.
I don't know what motivates people, Tommy.
I have no idea.
Well, the Pac-12 added 4 members this week from the Mountain West Conference. Joining current members Oregon State and Washington State will be Boise State, San Diego State, Colorado State, and Fresno State. Lots of states there. All of them are states. The State 8. The per NCAA rules, the Pac-12 has 2 years to get back to a minimum of 8 teams. They have 6 now.
Okay.
Let's say there's $110 million they've got to come up with to reimburse an exit fees that those teams are going to have to pay.
The 4 new members will officially join the conference on July 1, 2026.
Okay.
So it's going to be,
Got still a couple years.
yeah, almost a couple of years. You're right. Cal and Stanford, who left the Pac-12 for the ACC, have both expressed interest in returning to the Pac-12 if a window opens up for them to do so.
Which
What a mess.
Isn't that something?
Two California
But didn't we
teams.
say that was coming? Because it made no sense whatsoever for them to join the ACC
Cal
on the other
Stanford.
side of the country.
You're from
No.
California, but you're going to join the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah. So they're
Atlantic.
looking to go back to the Pac-12.
You know, again, another prime example of how messed up college
You
football
better believe it.
is right now.
Well, Las Vegas Aces star Asia Wilson broke the WNBA all-time single-season scoring record on Wednesday night of this week. She surpassed Jewel Lloyd's mark of 939 for the record, and she currently has 956 points on the season. So, Asia Wilson.
Obviously, great interest in the
Yeah.
WNBA, and you know, it's been financially beneficial for everyone involved.
I also saw an article that said that the NCAA is, or the WNBA is launching an investigation into officials in games that Caitlin Clark played in, and charging some of them have been suspended already because of the way that they ignored
The hits on her.
and dirty things that were done.
Totally agree.
And they've ignored it. So some of the WNBA officials have been suspended already.
And there'll be more to follow.
I think
because
you're right.
I think they were taking cheap shots on her all throughout the season.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
was totally
They
classless.
were boy, they ripped her.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
And she took it all.
Took it all
and then
and
some.
yeah.
Has the assist record for WNBA now.
Sure.
And she got and she
For
got
a
that
single
last night.
season?
I'm just going to say that keep this in mind though, as the WNBA is adding games to the season,
Yes.
and it's going to add more next year. That you're going to want to look when they go back in the record books for WNBA at the averages per game rather than the totals.
Yeah.
Because it's going to make it. There's a lot more games being
Yeah, oh
played
yeah.
next
Oh
season
yeah.
Right.
than there were when some of the record holders that set some of those records
True.
that first couple of years were playing.
Well, thanks, guys, for the comments. That's all for this week's Sports Headlines, brought to you, as always, by Fast Signs. Whoosh. I'm Donnie Moore. Back to you, Marcus.
Thank you, Donnie. Got a little bit of time here, and Tony, I'm going to ask you, and thanks for making it this morning because I know your week schedule got changed.
Yeah.
If you didn't, people didn't know, you all were playing up at West Virginia State.
Correct. Thursday night game. Yes.
And a former Carson Newman player who had transferred to West Virginia State was killed the night before the game was supposed to take place.
Correct.
And the game was moved to Friday afternoon.
That's right.
But I mean, this had to be the strangest couple of days for the Carson Newman team.
Jalik Harrington was played at Carson Newman for 2 years, and it was a linebacker for us, and just a great young man. I coached him, and just a wonderful guy to be around. Players loved him. He decided to transfer to West Virginia State.
Yes.
And first game against Barton, had an outstanding game, had like 9 tackles, 1 sack. And so just a great guy. And so we were going up to West Virginia State in Charleston, West Virginia, to play them Thursday evening.
Right.
And so we just arrived there. In fact, Jalik was texting a couple of our players. He was thinking about coming on over and saying hi to some of the guys. And unfortunately, he lived in an apartment complex, and there was a burglary robber guy that tried to get into several doors and couldn't, and got into Jalik's apartment and opened the door. And we're kind of thinking that Jalik saw someone coming in and went to confront him, and the guy shot Jalik. So, we heard of the news early Thursday morning of the game, and I mean, we were just crushed.
Oh, I imagine.
So the school had decided to suspend the game, and we were wondering, well, are we going to suspend it or move it, or game get canceled?
Sure.
Well, they decided that we were going to go ahead and move the game from Thursday evening to yesterday, Friday, and we were going to have a noon kickoff. We still went down to the field on Thursday at 6 o'clock with the West Virginia State team at the same time. And we went ahead together as both teams talked and had kind of a memorial service for Jalik together, and the coaches were saying and players were talking about Jalik. I mean, it was something I've never experienced. And then again, I'm coaching my 45th year or something like this, and you never envision anything like this. And Jalik's mother was already up there, for the game, and she met with the team at 2 o'clock, and then she left to go back home to North Carolina. What the team did was they painted the yard markers. Jalik's number, I believe, was maybe 22 for West Virginia State. Their jersey is mostly a black football jersey, so they painted a black along the 22-yard line. And then since he played at Carson Newman, I believe he was like number 31, 32, and they painted an orange on their marker as well. And when we arrived on Thursday, the scoreboard had his two numbers, one under his Carson Newman number on the scoreboard, and the other one was West Virginia State number and all.
That's great.
So it was extremely emotional, and we got a chance to talk to the players, and it was